Hello YouTube friends, welcome to my channel. This is Rai with my husband trouble buddy Alan, and we're still here in Prague, Czech Republic. This is the last part of our series of exploration of the Prague Castle, and this time we're gonna enter the Golden Lane here in the courtyard of the Prague Castle. So join us, but before we start, please don't forget to subscribe. From Old Royal Palace and St. George Basilica, we're now on our way to our last destination, and that is the Golden Lane. It is still in the courtyard of the Prague Castle. We just need to make some few walks to go to that Golden Lane place. Golden Lane is a street situated in Prague Castle, Czech Republic. Originally built in the 16th century to house Rudolf II's castle guards, it takes its name from the goldsmith that lived there in the 17th century. Golden Lane consists of small houses, painted in bright colors in the 1950s. The street originally had houses on both sides, but one side was demolished in the 19th century. Today, the lane is part of a small and big castle ring. While there is a free entry after the Prague Castle interiors close, many of the houses are now souvenir shops, and there is a museum of medieval armory within the former 14th century fortification accessible from Golden Lane. As I mentioned, the houses are small, so we need to wait for the other tourists to go out before we could enter it. For some trivia, a sister of writer Franz Kafka rented the house number 22 in the summer of 1916. Kafka used this house to write for approximately 1 year. Jaroslav Seifert, who won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1984, and who was one of the signatories of Charter 77, lived there in 1929. Golden Lane is connected with Dalifort Tower, which used to be a dungeon. As mentioned in the other video, the staircase is narrow and stiff, and only one person at a time can fit into it. Therefore, there is a queue of people who wish to go up and down the staircase. The Golden Lane originated after the construction of a new northern wall of the castle. The area of the northern bailey was used for the building of modest dwellings, which are now the last remainder of the small-scale architecture of Prague Castle. They were inhabited by defenders of the castle, servants, or for example, goldsmiths, and the castle marksmen. The tiny houses were occupied until World War II, but already during the period of the First Republic, care was taken to ensure that the picturesque character of the lane was not changed in the course of modifications. The appearance of a 16th century dwelling is best demonstrated by house number 13, which is a Renaissance home of a member of the Guard, so-called Red Musket. In the neighboring house number 14, there lived before World War II a famous fortune teller, Madame de Thibes, whose clientele were both local and from overseas, as is documented in her correspondence. Because of her predictions of a near fall of the Third Witch, she was arrested by the German secret police and died during an interrogation. The name of the lane is derived from goldsmiths, who used to live there, as can be seen in house number 15. In the 16th century, the name Goldsmith Lane has been documented, which later changed to the present Golden Lane. As you can see all these items displayed here, it's easy to understand why this lane is called Goldsmith Lane, which later became Golden Lane. Look at all those armors. It feels like I was back to Renaissance years.
I knew this when I commanded.
Yeah, that's their seat covers.
With all these armors and get-ups, I can't imagine how a war was during those days. Of course, I've seen some on movies, but the real one must be different, shocking, and for sure, very bloody.
Oh, I guess this one.
See those armored suits? They're like Iron Man nowadays. I feel so sorry for the soldiers who are tasked to wear one. It's sure very heavy. And are you really fully protected with that attire? I see in the movie that there are still some soldiers who are dying with that.
These are the Iron Man back in the days. As in literally.
And look at all those weapons that they are using. The spears, the swords. Oh my gosh. Once you're caught with it, it will surely be your death.
If you have big belly. That is for those who have big belly. See? So they have big belly. My goodness.
I'm just making jokes on it, but actually, I'm not really comfortable seeing all of this. My imagination is running so bloody. The staircase in house number 12 affords access to the terrace in front of the tower called Daliborka. This round cannon tower formed a part of the Gayewo fortification system, and its bottom floor was used as a prison. The first and also the best-known prisoner was the knight Dalibor of Kosoyedi, who was imprisoned here in year 1498.
These are the Iron Men.
Some of the myths and legends that we heard about Golden Lane is that it is often referred to as the Street of Alchemists. Despite the legend, however, the houses were never occupied by the king's alchemists. Emperor Rudolf II of Austria, who eventually moved to live permanently in Prague, did have alchemists living in the castle, but they occupied rooms inside the main structure, rather than living in the tiny houses of Golden Lane. Rudolph's alchemists did most of their work inside the Mihulka Tower, which sits on the northern side of the castle. The name Golden Lane, however, is not completely arbitrary, as in the 17th century, the royal goldsmith lived on the street. I guess this will be the end of our exploration of the Prague Castle. We're about to exit the courtyard, and we'll be back to the main city. It took most of our time visiting and exploring each part of this Prague Castle, but it's truly worth it. I can say that this is highly recommended to be visited once you are here in Prague. We learn a lot about their early lives and culture, and it leaves us a lasting memory to remember. Okay, for a recap, once you visited the Prague Castle, be ready to climb up with a lot of steps to be here. Enjoy the beautiful sceneries in the Royal Garden. Be amazed with the beautiful St. Vitus Cathedral. Explore the historical Old Royal Palace and the picturesque architectural design of St. George Basilica. And enter those tiny houses and yet full of stories of the Golden Lane. And of course, don't forget to have a lot of pictures and videos that will complete your package. Okay? There you go, YouTube friends. I will end this video here. But this is not yet the end of our stay here in Prague. There's more to see and experience, just like this gelato on a special cone that can only be seen here in Prague. So stay tuned for our next adventure. And please, don't forget to like, share, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit on that notification bell for more updates. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. There you go, YouTube friends. I will end this video here. But this is not yet the end of our stay here in Prague.